Well, hello and welcome to this edition of Under the Umbrella. I'm WDTN Plus meteorologist Melissa Barrington. Thank you so much for joining us. Today we are going to talk to another WDTN weather checker, and we have another one who has graciously given his time to come in and visit with us. This is Jim Robbins, and hello, Jim. How are you?
Hello, Melissa.
So where do you, what's your city that you check in for a weather checker for us?
That's out in Beaver Creek.
Beaver Creek, okay.
My parents moved to Beaver Creek in 1958.
Oh, so you are a longtime Beaver Creek resident then?
Yeah, for a little, after we got married. Well, I lived in East Dayton for a while, but been back in Beaver Creek since 1999.
Okay, so a long time at
Yeah.
least. So, and how long have you been a weather checker?
Since this Thanksgiving weekend of 1999.
Thanksgiving. Why Thanksgiving weekend?
Well,
Were they running a promotion or something like sign up?
Well, not really, because we moved back to Beaver Creek actually in January of 1999. And then at the time, I was working for Hospice at Dayton. And they always had the fundraiser at Polking Lanes, and Carl Nichols was always there. So that usually ended up in October. So I asked Carl, I said, "Are you always looking for weather checkers?" He said, "Yeah, we're always looking for weather checkers." I said, "Well, do you have one for Beaver Creek yet?" And he said, "No." I said, "Well, I'd like to be one."
And had you had any previous weather experience before meeting Carl then?
I don't think so. I've been watching Channel 2 for years and years.
Uh-huh.
So,
So what did he tell you had to do then?
well, he really didn't say too much about it. I mean, it's just one of those things. I thought, okay, what am I supposed to do? So
Right.
I called into the station, just the regular phone number.
Yeah.
And they connected me to the Weather Center, which was the 294-2087 number
Okay.
back then.
And you still remember that number?
And Brian answered the phone. I said, "Well, what do I need?" I said, "Anything special or anything?" And he said, "No, if you have a thermometer and a rain gauge and something to measure snow, that's all you need."
Okay.
So I'm still trying to figure out how to measure horizontal snow.
Oh, well, yeah, that's very
So
difficult.
I don't know how that's going to happen.
Blowing snow is definitely a problem. Horizontal snow, yeah. Visibility, that's tough.
Yeah.
So he told you everything that you needed to do. So if there's someone
Yeah.
who was thinking, oh, maybe I want to be a weather checker, what do they need?
Just the basic thing, just a thermometer. I have little weather station that's got a sensor that's out on the back fence. Try to keep it in the shade as much as possible. And then it just transmits the high and low temperature, and it gives me the relative humidity on the inside anyway.
So has your weather equipment, I assume, has changed over the years where now it's probably digitized, whereas when you started, was it digitized or no?
Well, I think, I've switched little weather stations a few times over the
Yeah.
years.
Well, they break.
So, yeah, everything's digital, and it comes down to where it gives the temperature and at 0.6 or 0.8 and stuff. So, other than that, well, it's not too bad.
Okay. Now, has your location, you said you moved back to Beaver Creek, but since you've been in Beaver Creek, has your location changed for your weather reports, or have you always been in the same location?
No, always the same location. Found a good house and good neighbors.
Okay. And your weather station, is it like, you said on a fence, so is it like up 4 or 5 feet?
The transmitter is out on the fence, and the transmitter is on the kitchen table, cabinet, countertop.
Okay. Have you ever met any of the other weather checkers that we have?
Well, just when, actually, I met Bill Telser at Bob Evans several years back.
By accident, or was that on purpose?
It was totally by accident.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. And
So,
you're like, oh, I'm a weather checker too?
And the only other time that I met any of the weather checkers was back in 2008. When it was just before Carl Nichols retired in 2009, and a lot of us come together, and I couldn't tell you all the names
Right.
of them and stuff, but I think Brian orchestrated the cookout and stuff. So that's one of my treasures from
I'm
years
sure.
ago.
I'm sure. Did Brian cook?
That I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know. I don't remember how everything transpired. So
Okay.
we'll have to talk it over with him and see.
Yeah, I was going to say, when was that? 2009?
2008.
2008.
Yeah, in
Well,
July. So it
geez.
was warm.
Geez, we're going to have to probably do that again. You would think that would be an annual event.
Yeah. Well, I would have thought they'd have had something since then.
Yeah, exactly. You would think. You would think. Well, I might have to pass this on to Brian, and he tells me that he watches all of these shows. So if he's watching, we're gonna have to tell him he's gonna have to do something here for this upcoming summer.
When I sent my weather in last night, I said I'll be at the station tomorrow with Melissa. So
And he was probably like, "Oh, why?"
I told him what was going on.
Okay. So, like, you report every day
Yeah.
for the most part,
Yeah.
and multiple times a day, right?
Yeah, usually the 6 and 11
Mm-hmm.
newscast.
And you usually email it now, but you used to always call it in, right?
Used to always call it in, and sometimes you'd have to call a couple of different times for him to actually get through.
Because the phone was busy, or they
Well,
couldn't pick
everybody
up.
was calling in, so
Yes. Yeah.
sometimes it took a little while.
I will say that the email is kind of nice because then, you're not bothered. You can send it in to us, and then we can get to it when we need to get to it. So,
do it on your own schedule.
yeah, yeah. But you do take breaks, I assume. When you go on vacation, and
Yeah.
do you ever have anyone take over your spot? Like, do you ever have do you have any kids or anything where you have family members come over and say you got to call this in?
No kids. Yeah. Usually I'll give Brian a heads up. Say, maybe I do, maybe I don't.
Okay.
Usually he knows something's going on if I don't send
Oh,
anything.
okay. Do you ever have your wife send it in?
I don't know if she's sent any in or not.
Oh, okay.
She may have, but on very rare occasions.
Okay. So what do you get out of being a volunteer for WDTN and being a weather checker? What do you enjoy most about it?
Well, I think it's just the fascination of the different aspects of weather. I mean, just in general conversation, the weather's going to come up within the first 10 minutes on anybody you speak to.
Correct.
But when you stop and think about it, there's so many different areas and things. And just in the past few years, I've been keeping track on what my temperature is and how much precipitation I get compared to what they get at the airport and stuff. And I know I live about probably 3.5 miles from Bill Telsero.
So we mark yours as Xenia. Is that right? Is that what it was worked out, or do we mark you as
He
Beaver
always
Creek?
says Beaver Creek Fairborn now.
Beaver Creek Fairborn.
Yeah, it
Okay.
used to be Xenia for him.
Okay, so I wasn't sure. I knew one of you goes back and forth. So if you're so how far are you from Wright Pat?
Right, Pat would be about 7 to 8 miles.
Okay, because isn't that closer to you than going to the Dayton International Airport?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's approximately 15, 16 miles up to the airport.
Okay, so you probably want to compare your stuff to what Wright Pat's reporting, I'd assume.
Well, I mean, where I'm...
But the official, right?
Yeah. And so, but where we're located at, we're about 8 miles from Xenia, 8 miles from Fairborn, 8 miles from Dayton.
There you go.
So
You're just in that perfect location there. So I've had some of the folks from Wright Pat here, and they have their own weather service over there.
Yeah.
And they issue their own warnings separate from what the weather service does. Have you ever heard those? Do you hear that where you are?
usually not.
No. So you just hear the sirens and stuff from the weather service.
I'm close enough that I can hear the sirens over in Kettering and stuff. And I think we have one at the fire station just around the corner from us also.
Okay. You're just in a unique position there. That's why I was wondering. I was like, well, I know that they have that over there, but
Well, it's one of those things that where I live at, well, it's just east of the 675/35 interchange, and you kind of go down into a little ravine or valley there. So everything is kind of goes over you or it just sinks down on top of you.
so do you find that sometimes your numbers might be warmer or colder because you're kind of down in that little dip?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And it probably, like winter, I assume you really see some differences as well.
Uh,
Or what about fog?
Fog can be bad because you're in that little valley there. And a lot of times you can see how bad it is on whether or not you can see headlights over on 35 or not. So during the winter time, you can see a lot of headlights, but when all the leaves come out, I said, yes, it deadens the noise some. Everything, don't see the headlights anymore.
Oh, yeah, well, that can go either way for you if you can see those headlights or not. So that's definitely. Do you have a favorite season?
Not necessarily, because over the years we did go skiing, snow skiing. We went up into Michigan. We went out to Colorado and stuff. And since we retired, well, we've been doing some traveling over in Europe and things. So, yeah, we're always aware on what's going on with the weather.
All right, very good. Well, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we are going to continue our conversation with Jim Robbins, WDTN Weather Checker. We'll be right back. Well, hello and welcome back to Under the Umbrella. Today we are talking with another WDTN weather checker. And if you're interested in becoming a weather checker, probably want to listen to this conversation just to find out what you need to do and listen to how much fun our weather checkers have. This is Jim Robbins, and he is with us from the Beaver Creek Fairborn areas where we reported.
Mainly just Beaver Creek.
Beaver Creek, okay. But Brian sometimes marks it on there as Fairborn, right?
Only with Bill.
Only with Bill. Okay, well, that's Bill Telsrow.
I think he's still learning.
So I wanted to ask you, like, since you're so interested in weather, you've kept weather records for a very long time, right?
Yes.
Okay. You have notebooks.
I have notebooks. I have little notations on, especially when we get affected by the hurricanes and how that relates to the weather, how if we got any rain or if it's just real windy and everything. So
love these.
Yeah.
I used to work with someone actually that used to do this, and he would always have his mom do it once he left.
Yeah.
So anyone who might know who Ben Gelber is, he's a meteorologist in Columbus, Ohio. Yeah. He kept the weather for eastern Pennsylvania since he was a kid, and he wrote it down like this. Once he moved to Columbus, he would call his mother every single day to get the weather information. So his mom was doing exactly what you're doing, and she's had all the records for, decades. And you've got your rain gauge. You've got books here. You brought them with, right?
Yes, that's my little weather station.
There you go. Okay, it's all digitized.
Yeah.
And there's the books.
Yeah.
I find this so interesting. Are you a CocoRa's observer through the Weather Service?
No.
No, I'm surprised.
A few years back, I thought about getting to be one of the weather spotters.
Oh, okay, with Skywarn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but usually when it comes up, we had stuff going on, or I thought, I'm not going to do it this time. Maybe next time.
Okay. Are you a ham radio operator?
No.
Okay. So, have you ever storm chased?
No.
No.
I've chased getting away from the storm.
But you know what you're looking at when you look outside.
Oh yes.
So more recently was the 2019 Memorial Day tornadoes, and then there's been many other events that have occurred, in and around the Miami Valley. Have you been affected specifically, like at your house, from any of these events?
Well, it was so strange for the 2019 tornado. Where it went through was only about a mile and a half from where I live, maybe 2 miles. And I kept on hearing the sirens go off, and we went downstairs, which is what you're supposed to do. But then I'd kind of go up the stairs, and since my house faces to the west, well, I kept on looking out the side windows of the front door, say, okay, well, is the tornado here, or where's it going, or and stuff. But by the time I did that, it had already passed. But when I looked out in the yard, I thought, well, what? There's a piece of something out in the front yard. And when I went out the next day to look at it, well, it was a piece of insulation from somebody's home. So where it come from, I have no idea.
I would assume you saw some other debris in your neighborhood as well.
Well, we had a few limbs down, nothing, no trees were down or anything. Mainly it's just the smaller limbs.
Okay. How about Ike? Were you affected by Ike?
Ike was a little rougher. I think I made a note that we had 70-mile-an-hour winds, is what they said at the airport. We had a lot of wind. There's a lot of little limbs all over the street. And if I remember right, I think it was Ike where we had a lightning strike, and it knocked out our garbage disposer. It knocked out the neighbor's television. It knocked out the people across the street. It hit their well and knocked that out. And I think there's somebody else affected close by, but I don't recall what it was. But so, yeah. But no trees were damaged in my house or in the neighbors. Just a lot of little limbs that scattered all over the street.
And you showed me a picture. You've got it with you here, a picture of blizzard of what, 78?
Yes, this is my parents' house. That is the blizzard of 78. That's the front of their house. 24 inches of snow.
Wow. That's a lot of snow.
So back then, I think probably my father went out several times and shoveled. He never did have a snowblower. Okay. So if somebody came down with a snowblower, well, I thank them for doing that.
You mean your dad didn't have you go out and help?
Well, this was in 1978, so this is about 6 months after we were married. I was living in East Dayton then.
So you couldn't get there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we were kind of homebound for about 3 days.
Oh, no. Did you have to shovel your own house then, or were you in an apartment where you didn't have to deal?
Well, we had a house. We lived right on the bus line in the East Dayton, so it's just a matter of getting the shovel out and digging ourself out more than anything else. But since it's a one-way street, we had to be careful when we backed out of the driveway. And there were several times I would go out and stand in the road and let my wife see if it's okay to get back on out.
I was in Chicago at that time, and I remember my parents, we'd have to put chairs and cones and things like that to save our parking spot out on the street. Did you ever have to do anything like that?
We did not have to do that, but several people in the street had a chair or something out there so they could reserve the spot, but you know how people are. They always move stuff.
They're not quite so respectful, are they? So you've obviously been interested in weather for a very long time. Did you ever consider becoming a meteorologist?
I think it's probably in the back of my mind, but then I started thinking about all the calculations and all the training that you have to go through and everything. And I said, I'll just do it on my own.
Okay, well, hey, we need every kind of weather observer. I mean, whether you're doing what you do or becoming a professional, I mean, there's always something to do.
Well, and back in the early years when I first started keeping the book, and my parents kept it quite a bit too, people would come over to the house and say, "Where's the weather book? Where's the weather book?" They was interested in certain dates or something like that. Well, what happened on this date, or do you have anything on what happened on such and such a date or such and such a year and stuff? So they did a lot of the entries and everything. Then I kind of tweaked it a little bit on my own then.
Yeah, I mean, that is a very common question that we as professionals get. People want to know what happened on a certain day, or they remember a certain storm and they say, when was this? Or, it may or may not be exactly how they remember it, or how cold was it, and
Yeah.
the weather records are, everyone needs that.
Yeah, and not everybody wants to go to a lot of places to try to find it. Okay, where do I go to find stuff like that?
Well, now, if anyone is interested, you can go back and watch my episode that I did on climate data, or it's on weather data, I should say. It was a previous
Right.
episode. You can watch that, and we walk you through the whole thing, because
Oh,
now it's
absolutely.
all. You said you actually looked at some of that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I started looking back through my books a little bit, I found a couple of missing entries, so I went back and checked that out to catch everything up.
So, what do you plan to do with your books?
It's hard to say. I'd like to pass them down to somebody and stuff, but I mean, for the time being, it's just kind of interesting to go back. Oh yeah, I remember that happened in that year, and stuff. So yeah, it's nice just to look back and say, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember the Xenia tornado in '74. Bob Braun had been up to Memorial Hall and was taping the show that day, and they were on their way back to Cincinnati, and he saw all three tornadoes it's already past I-75 then. He said there's going to be a lot of people hurt on that. Of course, we know that was the case.
Unfortunately, and you could still tell where it hit if you go to Xenia
Sure.
to this day. I remember we weren't living in Ohio at the time, but my husband and I, we went through Xenia on purpose to look at it, and you could tell like where the brick homes are and stuff. You could tell exactly where that path is.
Yeah.
It's amazing that you can still tell
Well,
that
it's-
to this day.
It's the same way the 2019 tornado.
Yes.
You still see the evidence of the trees and things too. So a lot of the homes have been rebuilt and everything. So, but there's still scars.
Yes, and there will be scars for decades to come, unfortunately. What do you enjoy most about being a weather checker for us?
I think I recruited several people to start watching Channel 2. And some of the people that I graduated high school with said, oh, yeah, I know him. Yeah, he's the weather checker for Channel 2. So we know him. And sometimes have a little fun at church with it, too. And I remember back in November, one of the fellas asked me, said, well, Jim, when's it going to snow? I thought, oh, I don't know. November 10th, we're going to get snow. Well, if you go back and look, November 10th, we had 3 inches of snow.
There you go.
I'm not a weather prophet or anything, no. But it's just happened to be that way.
Just like ready. And you got it right. Good for you. Well, thank you so much, Jim, for being on the show today. I really appreciate it, and I love listening to all of your information. It was really a pleasure to have you with us.
Well, thank you.
And thank you for joining us on this edition of Under the Umbrella. Until next time, you can always email me with suggestions at undertheumbrella@wdtn.com.